What is up, guys? Welcome back to part 2 of this mini series. Let's get started. So hope you guys are ready to jump back into building your website. So far, we've installed Expression Engine on our domain and we've set up some of the structure. And by the end of this video, we're gonna have most of the theme installed and most of the functionality will be there for our website. But what I wanna show you guys first is the theme that I'm gonna be using. This is a template from themeforest.net, which is an Envato marketplace. This theme was super cheap, it's 13 bucks. This really is one of the cleanest designs and templates I've used. It just has so many options. And just to show you really quick, I'm gonna go to the live preview and you can see they've actually organized these by home pages, landing pages. They also have some designs for blogs, shops, portfolios, all those kind of things. So if I click on this, you can see just how clean this is. And that's actually why I chose this template, not just because it has an awesome blog site, but if you guys decide to use this as your main template for your whole website or another website, then you actually could just use this same theme and no one would know you just copied and pasted it. Fair warning, if you do use that link to buy this template, I do get a cut from that money, but it's nothing out of your pocket. I just get a little bit of money from Envato. So if you feel like being awesome and helping me out, be sure to buy the theme from that link and I would greatly appreciate it. So that being said, you don't have to use this theme, you can use whatever you want, but I think it'd make more sense if you do follow along with the same theme because I'm gonna be copying a lot of the code from this template to save a lot of time. So I think it'd make more sense if you just follow along. So I'm gonna go ahead and unzip this folder and we're gonna go into Rush Upload. As you can see, there are tons of different folders and files here, but we're gonna be using blog home column 2. So that's a file we're gonna be needing later on. They've also included Bootstrap in here. If you don't know what that is, I'll put a link in the description. It's basically a framework of a bunch of different elements for HTML. It saves a ton of time. I can't get into it in this video, but check out the link if you're interested. So we don't need every single folder and we don't even need every single file inside the folders we need. But what I'm gonna do is select the JavaScript, the images, I'm gonna select the CSS, Bootstrap, and then that blog home column 2, and I'm gonna copy them. And I'm just gonna jump over to my desktop and create a new folder. And I'm just gonna call this Rush and paste all of those files in there. Now what I like to do is just open up that file again so we can check that everything is still working and looking the same. So we haven't left anything out, which is good, but there's still a lot in here that we don't need, like the modals or any of the countdown stuff. And that's just gonna slow down our website and we don't need it. So what we can do is actually just delete those folders. We also don't need the slider and the rest of the stuff, I'm not too sure. And if you're not sure with some of these files, they're literally like 7 kilobytes. So they're not gonna slow down your site. So if you're not sure, just don't delete it. For the images, we won't actually need anything in here, but if we delete it, you'll see that when I refresh it, all those nice images are going to disappear, but most of the site is still intact. For the CSS, we pretty much need everything in here. We're using the typography and most of the other themes and stuff in here, and you can leave everything inside of the Bootstrap. So we've already scaled down our theme dramatically to just a couple folders in one file, and now we can upload it into CyberDuck. Now there's a couple ways you can integrate this theme with Expression Engine. I'm sure they have their own guides to do this, but the way I like to do it is create a new folder at the beginning of our Expression Engine site, and I like to just call it FW, and this will stand for framework because the theme is the framework we're gonna be using. Then we can go into framework and just select all of these files and upload them there. So it should only take a couple of seconds to upload, but once it is finished, we're gonna have to link it from our index.html file. So everything is uploaded there, but what I'm gonna do is actually create a new window in CyberDuck just so that we don't have to keep clicking in and out of all of these folders. So I'm gonna go back into System, User, I'm gonna go into Templates, Default Site, Blog Circle Group, and then we are back to all of our pages. So we're gonna add this sidebar in here first, and that's just gonna be used as our header. I know it says header, but there is also some other stuff in the header we're gonna use. It'll make sense once we get into the code, I promise. So let's go ahead and double click the header HTML file. And then what we wanna do is open up our blog home column 2 file. And you'll see that there's a ton of code in this header here that we'll need. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna select all of this text all the way down to the nav tag. We're gonna copy that and paste it inside of our header file. Then what we're gonna do is go to the bottom of our blog home column 2, select the top of the footer tag and go all the way to the bottom. and then make sure that you go back to CyberDuck, open up your footer file, and paste it in there. Then if we go to our index file, this is where we're actually going to paste in the column. So we're going to scroll back up on our blog home column 2 and just select the second section tag. You'll see it's a lot of code here. We're just going to copy that, go into index, and we're going to paste it underneath these tags. So what we have to do now is actually surround each post frame inside of the expression engine tag. So what I mean by the post frame is if you look over into our other HTML file, you'll see that we have our title, we have a little subtitle for the category, we have our description, a more tag, and then this line separating between posts. So everything in this section right here is what is the post frame. And what we want that to do is repeat for every post that we upload and publish in Expression Engine. So what we have to do is actually go find that in the code. So you'll see that this is the more tag, and then we have another div. This is that row HR. That HR is that line that's separating between posts. And then we can delete everything underneath it because we just need one instance of this post frame. So we're just going to delete that code like so. And then we're going to surround that post frame in the expression engine tag so that it repeats. So you can think of the expression engine tags as kind of repeaters. And then we're going to find the end of this div. The reason I'm able to find it so quickly is I'm clicking on the div and you'll see that it underlines where that div close tag is. And I'm going to paste it in there. You don't have to space out with the extra lines and returns. I'm just doing that so it's easier to read and distinguish. Then I'm going to select the title with the 2 brackets, and I'm going to paste it in this bold tag here where it says Eunice Swanson, and we're going to replace that placeholder text because we want it to load in our title. And then we're going to copy our post content, and wherever it says Las Vegas in this paragraph tag right here, we're going to select all of this text and paste it in there so that our content is dynamically loaded. And then you can actually delete this expression engine tag and just leave this section and everything else here. So basically, just so you understand what's happening, we have a section tag that's pretty self-explanatory. We have it inside a couple of other containers. So everything here is working off of the Bootstrap framework. Again, if you want to learn more about that, you can look that up from the link in the description. Again, this is that line that's separating the posts. Then we have a row, we have a couple of other columns, and then our content. I know that doesn't really explain everything that's going on, but we'll get back into this in just a second. For now, we're going to head over to our website and just refresh it and see how everything looks. So obviously from a design standpoint, it looks horrible, but what's really cool is you can actually see that everything is still coming in dynamically. So we have our post coming in, we have our text, and we have our more link below. So even though it doesn't look like this, it's still following the same structure, which means that you've done everything right so far. Now the next thing we have to do is just link up our header and our footer. The way we're going to do that is using this embed code here. So we're just going to copy that and we're just going to paste that above our section tag. You want to change the template group to whatever you called your template group previously. I believe we called ours blog_circle, and then change the template to header. And then we're going to copy this whole tag and paste it at the bottom of our document, and then just change header to footer and save that. And then if we go back to our website, give it a couple of seconds to upload, and when we refresh, you'll see that it's actually bringing in our header as well. Again, nothing looks good, but that's just because we haven't added any styling yet. So let's go over to the header tag, and we're going to go to the beginning of every link. So a link, you'll see here, starts with a link, and we're going to go into href, and this is where we're going to actually change the destination because we put it inside of our framework folder. So to get to that, what we want to do is just create a new curly bracket and type in site_URL, close bracket, /framework/. And you want to copy this section here and paste it at the beginning of every link here, all the way down, and then go over to our footer document and do the same as well. And just for clarification, so you're following along, if we have our whole site here in our folder, we're telling it to go to the root folder, which is what the site URL does. Then we're going into the framework folder, and then it's linking up to those folders. So you just need to add that so it knows exactly where to point. And now if we refresh our page, we should see a couple of styles come in. So our sidebar and everything is coming in perfectly. You'll see that our titles are actually coming in on the left here, which you can leave if you want. I'm gonna actually delete this from our code, and then I'm gonna paste it in this heading too. So where it says getting around easily with the New York limousine service, I'm just gonna paste in title. And if we refresh, you'll see that it's pulling in the post correctly. But if you wanted to say add a quote for every post and pull that in, you could delete this placeholder text and just type in a curly bracket, post underscore quote, and then head over into your CMS, go to developer, fields, select the blog post from the left, create a new field, and we'll call this post quote. It'll automatically do the underscore, and we're gonna change this to a rich text editor here and hit save. Then if we go back to our edit and we can click on a random post, you'll see that post quote is now in there. So let's say I wanted this part of my content to be a post quote. I could paste it in there and hit save. And then if we refresh on our post, you'll see that post 3 is now bringing in that quote dynamically. So there's really a lot you can do here. Obviously, we are missing our images right now. So let's go ahead and add that in before we move on. Let's head back to our fields and click on blog post. And then we're going to create a new field, and you can call this header image. Drop down the type and make sure you select file. And you don't have to set this as a required field. All that means is that when you try and publish the post, it's going to give you an error if you haven't filled it out. So we can go ahead and hit save. And now if we go back to our post here, and now you'll see that that button is there to add a file. But before we can actually upload our header images, we actually have to configure a directory for our attachments. Otherwise, anywhere we upload, it'll just kind of float aimlessly in the interwebs and we'll never see it again. So you want to click on upload file, and you're going to select create new upload directory. And again, you can call this blog stream. So in case you end up creating another stream, maybe for e-commerce or about me or your photography website, whatever it is, you just know what they are. And for the directory and the path, you actually want to reference the documentation for Expression Engine, which I'll pull in another tab here. So it tells you to put in your base URL, which is your full website address. So mine is blogcircle.macsq.com. And then you want to put /images/uploads for the upload directory. And for the upload path, all you have to write is images/uploads, and then you can select save and you're good to go. Now if we hit edit again, we can jump back into one of our posts, and this time we can upload a file by just selecting upload new file. So I have a picture here from Unsplash, which I'm going to go ahead and upload, and you'll see that it's added it to our post, so we can save that. But now we need to add it to our code. So let's go back into our code here, and what we're going to do is change everything inside the quotes here underneath our title. So if you follow along, we have title, then we have a background image div. We're going to change everything inside the quotes of that file. We're going to change everything inside the quotes of that link. So just delete that, create an open bracket, and we're going to type in header underscored image and save that. And then if we go back to our website, you'll see that it's actually bringing in that header image for our post. So everything is looking good, but at this point, we don't actually have our post linking to that individual post page. But if you want to leave everything like this, so every post is just coming in full length and it's kind of just an infinite scrolling, you can do that. But if you want to learn how to create a link to an individual post page, just keep watching. And what we're going to do first is actually open up our theme again. And if we look at this, you'll see that there are tons of different blog post HTML files. So if we open up blog post 1, you'll see it's kind of this full width with the hero image. If we go to 2, it's the same thing, just without the hero image. We go to 3, it's more of a minimalistic boxed look. So you can choose whichever one you want. I'm just going to be using the blog post -1. So what we're actually going to do is drag that on to our editor, in our text editor, and then we can copy and paste that code in for the individual post page. So what we're going to do is actually go to index.html and duplicate this and rename it to post.html, just so we get a complete copy, and we can open that up, and then we can start to replace the code with the blog post page content. So what we're going to do is go to blog post -1, and we're going to copy everything from the header tag here all the way down to the end of the first section tag. Everything after that is comments and stuff, which we're not going to add in right now. So we're just going to copy those first two blocks, go to post.html, and replace those two section tags there. And so that's awesome, but we still don't have a way to link to this post page. It's just kind of floating aimlessly on our website. So we need to go over to index.html and find where the link for our titles are. So the link surrounding this post 3 and post 2, it should be found around line 25, but look for the ahref and that hashtag. And we're gonna delete that hashtag, and we're gonna type in a link to our template group and our post. So our template group is called blog_circle. Then we're going to put a / and type in post so it knows which template to use. That is our post template. And we're going to do another / and we're just going to type in URL_title. And then there's a couple things we have to do before we actually click on this post and refresh it. We need to go into Expression Engine. We need to go to Developer and click on Add-ons. Then you want to make sure that this Pages add-on is installed. You can just click the install button and it'll install immediately. And then lastly, we want to make sure that this index.php is removed. So we're going to reference the documentation once again, and we're just going to create a small Htaccess file. And all you have to do is just copy this code here, go into CyberDuck and go to your root folder wherever this index.php file is. And we're going to call this .htaccess. The dot is very important. It makes it a hidden file. So we're going to hit create there. And then you can double click on that and just paste in that code. So now if we refresh our page, you'll see the index.php is gone. And now if we click on our post, you'll see that we're actually linking to that individual post. So we've got our domain at the beginning, then we have blog_circle /post, and then / whatever the post title is. In this case, it's post-3. So this is cool, except we still have a couple of issues. Obviously, it's not bringing in the content dynamically, and we still have this sidebar. So if you want to keep the sidebar here, you can leave it like this. But if you want to take it out, go into CyberDuck, and what we're going to do is duplicate this header.html, and we're going to rename it to sidebar.html. And basically, we're just going to split the header from the sidebar. So open up sidebar.html and delete everything from the body all the way up to the doc type HTML. So all you have is just that nav tag. And then head into the header.html and delete that sidebar so you don't get it in there twice. But we're also going to copy this body tag and delete it because this is a body tag with a class that's specific to the sidebar. So you want to take it out, and we're going to actually manually apply it in the index.html. You go to index.html, and under the embed tag, just paste in that body tag, and then copy the embed code above it and paste it beneath the body tag so that we can have in our sidebar. So you're just going to replace header with sidebar. And then we're going to go to blog post 1.html or whichever version you're using, and just copy this body box tag and paste it in above our post, so just beneath the header. So hopefully that makes sense. We have our header coming in and then the body tag, but no sidebar. But if we go back to our homepage on the index.html, we have the header with the body tag, but then we also have the sidebar. So now if we refresh our page, we have a full width blog post, and then we just need to link in our content. So what we're going to do is actually just copy this expression engine tag from our homepage and go to post.html. And we're actually going to paste this beneath the body tag, and we're going to change limit from 10 to 1 since it's just one blog post. And then go back to our index.html and copy the end tag there and paste it at the end of our section here. And then you can just begin to replace all the content. So wherever there's a heading, you can replace heading 1 with open curly bracket title. You can go into the quotes here and replace that with your post quote that we created a few minutes ago. So post quote. And then we can do the same thing with our body content and create a new curly bracket, post_content. Then we just need to add in our image. So once again, go find that background URL tag and replace everything inside the quotes. So make sure you're inside the parentheses and you haven't deleted the quotes. Create a new curly bracket and call this header_image. Again, wait for it to upload, refresh, and then it'll also bring in our image in the background. Now we don't actually need these numbers here because everything's just going to be on one page. So what we can do is just go to this middle column and delete this div. Everything with the col MD8, just delete that. Now you can actually set this next and previous to link dynamically to your entries. And I'm actually going to pull from the form here from Expression Engine, and I'm going to copy this piece of code, and then we're going to paste it inside of this row. So just go to the beginning of this section and paste that in there. And then we just need to change the path to blog_circle/post, and you can just copy and paste this for the newer and older. And then we're just going to separate these tags so it's actually set up with the same styling. So we're going to copy the older tag, and we're going to put it inside of the previous div here. And what we're going to do is copy that previous text, and then we're going to replace this span with that text. Just hit paste, and then just do the same thing for the newer. So we're going to copy this text. You can delete that and go to newer, go inside this div, paste it in there, and we're going to copy the next link and paste it inside that link there. And then we're just going to actually delete this small tag since we won't have the ability to bring in that title dynamically. So if we refresh our page, you'll see that the next link has actually disappeared. That's just because there aren't newer entries. It is still working because if we click on previous, it takes us to post 2, and then if we hit next, it takes us over to post 3. And that's where I'm going to end it for this video. I know there's still some stuff to do. Obviously, we need to still bring in our Instagram feed, make sure there's a link to get back to the homepage. And we'll look at having comments for each post as well as the ability to share to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all of those awesome things. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in part 3.